Hey, welcome to another episode of Real Conversations. I'm your host, Nicole Jones,
And I'm Shaquana Terry.
and we would like to thank you guys for joining us here tonight. Okay, so I'm going to start this off like I always started off. How is my beautiful co host doing tonight? Listen, I love this hair on you. I don't care how many times I see it, it looks
Mhm.
awesome on you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're
Doing
welcome.
well. How are you?
I'm good, can't complain. As you can see, I took my hair down.
Yeah. And I like that it's longer. So you can kind of do the different styles. You can do the short when it's like coiled up, and then you can do the long. So, hey, listen, I love me a good versatile hairstyle. I love it. So, yeah, kudos to you. Looks good on you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so like Nicole said, we have a wonderful show lined up for you today. We're going to get into some very, very sensitive topics tonight. And the first one is going to, it may not, but it blew my mind when when I heard about it. So I'm going to let Nicole introduce that.
Okay, so I have a friend who basically, he found out that, some women posted him on, a site. Actually, it's on Facebook,
Hmm.
and then it's called "Are We Dating the Same Man?" And everyone knew about the T app. We actually reported about the T app previously.
Hmm.
But so let's get back to the story.
Hmm.
So he basically asked me to join the groups just so he can, see what he wanted to know what it is that the women were saying about him or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
The crazy thing is, I am so against this whole thing. Okay. Now, women talking and basically getting some truth about whoever this is they dating, that's fine. What I don't like is posting pictures, because listen, would you like someone posting your pictures on a random page or whatever? Like I think that's like, ugh, it's should be frowned upon. But there, he was on there. What the women said about him was actually true. Okay, because but I'm sorry. I'm rambling over here. I'm so sorry. Quana, before I go further, what do you think about this app? When I brought it to your attention and I told you everything that I seen or some of the stuff that I seen, what did you think about it?
I am all for us sticking together as women and warning each other about potential dating scams, Tinder swindlers, stuff like that. I'm all for it. Somebody who's married, who's acting like he isn't, or even someone who's on the DL, because you have a lot of those out
Oh
there
my
as
God.
well. I am all for it. Expose them and give your fellow sis a heads up. What I am concerned about, and I think I mentioned this before on about the T app, excuse me, is that people use these things as a way to out people. And sometimes they're just for malicious intent. Oh, I he broke up with me and I don't like that. So if I
Hmm.
can't have him, nobody else can. Let me just go on the site and post him and make up lies.
Right.
And that part I am 100% against, because if someone is using their free will to not deal with you, that should be okay, you know?
Agree. Now, this is the part that because when I spoke to my friend about it, because I too seen someone else that I knew. I seen a few of my
Mhm.
friends who were added to the group or whatever the case may be. I've never heard of this group until my friend brought it to my attention. But apparently a lot of other people do know about it. Guys and girls apparently, which I just found that out. But when my friend, I was speaking to him about it because I was like, it's a little weird because what I don't like. is, let's say we see somebody and we tend to tell the person, hey, someone added you to the group, are we dating the same man? And they said, some say, are we dating the same man? They put the person's initials, their age, where they're located. That's nothing. And they put their
Mhm.
picture. I
Okay.
don't I don't like posting someone else's picture, but that's what they did. That was harmless. Then you got people who sit there and say like, oh, this person is like you said, married. There was a woman the other day that said, I opened the app and the first thing I see is my husband and all the women that he dated. I was like, ouch, that sucks. But he's married. Like, why are you even out there dating, sir? So what I spoke about with my friend, let me backtrack. Um, I he told me that when the girl that brought it to his attention before, he asked me if I can go on, he's no longer friends with her. And I said, why is that? He said, to be honest with you, I thought she posted it. I said, but why would you think that? If she brought it to your attention, why would you think that she posted you? Now, I don't know if he actually dated her or not. I didn't ask that question. But he laughed when I said it because the person that I seen, also thought that I posted them.
Mm.
For me, if you know me, you know that that's something I would never do. I don't care if we're cool or not cool. That's just not my cup of tea. You know. But yeah, well, he was like, that's crazy that he did that because that's exactly what happened with homegirl. I
I
felt
mean,
the same way.
yeah.
Yeah, he said I felt violated, and he said I thought about it later, and I knew it couldn't possibly have been her. He was like, but at that moment, I didn't want to talk to anybody, and I was like, I understand him being violated and stuff, but it's just like, why would you go to think that this, like, why would you ask the question, did she post you? Like,
Listen, I have, I think it's a valid question, regardless if she brought it up to him. And I'm going to speak from my own personal experience. I have asked people about certain things that they've said or done, and they lied in my face and said
okay,
that they didn't do it. If there is a motive behind it, and that motive is to hurt, or that motive is to expose, that can come from anybody. Shoot, it come from your own family. You
I
know what I'm
mean,
saying?
I get
So
where you're coming from with that. That's true.
I don't put anything past anyone.
Hmm.
Especially when people are hurt, they do some malicious things, whether
That's
it's
true.
right or not. It's malicious, right?
Yes.
So, and they're acting out of a space of hurt. So their feelings, their emotions have taken over, and they say and do things that they don't necessarily would do if they were in their right mind. So
Mhm.
I think he's valid for even thinking that. And then of course, pulling away and isolating because you don't know who to trust now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I
Um,
really wish that he was on here right now because he actually was going to come on and speak about it. But something came up, so he wasn't able to come on, to talk with us today. But
yeah.
the one thing that I want to know too, like when you realize, because my friend, I told him to go the legal route, but he didn't go the legal route, right? But the other friend is going the legal route. So what I said, because I know I didn't do nothing, so it doesn't matter to me. So I was like, it'd be in your best interest to finish your investigation, and that way you can find the person who actually did it. But I
Hmm.
also want an apology. Am I wrong for wanting an apology?
Absolutely not. I don't think that you're wrong for that. I think that um, you know, placing false blame is a serious thing, no matter what it is. So once you find out, or once this person finds out who actually is the initiator of that particular post, then I feel like he should come to you and say, "Hey, listen, I apologize. Um, it was not you. I found out that it wasn't you, or whatever it may be." And I think, is there an investigation? I don't know. Sometimes, um, people will say, okay, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. I'm gonna investigate this and that, and just so you can be like, okay, it was me. No, investigate it because I want you to
Well,
actually find out who it is.
I'm the one that gave him the information. I gave him the admin's information so he
Hmm.
can, do whatever it is that needs to be done. Because at the end of the day, if I said this is saying what I told my other friend, I said, hey, you can actually either go the legal way or you can reach out to the admins and tell them, hey, I did not authorize this picture. Please take it. Please remove my picture. You know, just like in regards to the T app, when we reported on that previously, there were some gentlemen who actually sued the T app. I don't
Hmm.
know how far they got with that, but they did sue because they too was added to that app, and there was false information that was also put on, attached to their name. And when stuff like that happens, that's defamation of character. You can't do
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely, it is. And I think more people should start taking the legal route when their character and integrity is questioned or
Absolutely.
defamed, right? So, it really, like apps like these, like I told you, before with the T app and now with this one, I haven't gone to any of those apps because I don't really care to see who's on there. A lot of people are hurt out here in these streets.
That's
and
true.
and me being a victim of someone being hurt and going and spewing lies and stuff like that, and it's like, hey, especially with some men, hey, they were the dog, they were cheating, they were doing all of that stuff, but then they turning around on you like you were the bad person, to almost to like justify their actions, and then men, they can be very persuasive, and so that bashing you and defamation of character, I really truly do not agree with. And I don't go on these sites, and I'm not going to put anybody that I know that has done me like double wrong on one of these sites, because guess what, they're gonna get what's coming to them. And I always
But
pray
that's the
that
thing.
I always pray that
That's the
people
thing
get what
right
they
there.
deserve. That's it.
We
Yeah.
understand this though. Like we're
Yeah.
from the old school, okay? My thing is, if someone doesn't want you, if you guys broke up for some reason or you guys dated for a little bit and didn't work out, guess what? Take whatever you receive from that situation and move on. There's always going to be someone better, or whatever the situation is. But you don't need to put someone on blast the way some women are, like in a negative way. Now, if it's somebody that did something really bad and it needs to be a red flag out there for other women, I understand that. One of the things that I seen on the app, and mind you, I was only on the app because someone asked me to go on it. I didn't even know it existed, and I
Yeah.
don't go scrolling in groups on Facebook. So it's just like, I was like, wow. And oh my goodness, I didn't mention this part. It's in every state, every city. It's the same people who created it, who
Mm,
created this one. They
yeah.
control every last one of them across the board. And
Yeah.
so I joined the end of January when he told me about it of this year. And and there was like a breach or something like that because it was like a huge pause. So I'm looking and there's too many pictures. I can't scroll through all them pictures. First of all, they have 90,000 members.
I'm not putting my energy
Absolutely
into
not.
that. I'm not.
Ab-
No, I'm not putting my energy into that. I got way too many things going on to be focusing on whether or not I'm dating somebody, dating the same. First of all, I'm not dating anyway, but you know what I'm saying. I would not even waste my time for that, like, because I genuinely don't care. I feel like things are going to be revealed, and I have my ways. Things will be revealed in the way it needs to
always,
be revealed, and that's it. Like, I'm not.
always.
I'm just not dealing with that.
Things get
But
illuminated whenever when it's your turn to figure certain things out. It is illuminated, so you don't need to go searching for any of this stuff. Now if it
yeah.
landed in your lap, then that means it was your turn. It was it was meant for you to see. But I'm like, once he brought this to my situation, my once he brought it to my situation, once he brought it to my attention, um, you know, I came out of, some of the groups. Now the reason why, because he's in another state. So when I ended up in this one right here is because he was on a dating site and he's been linked to different, how when they stretch out where you can date these people from. He was down here in Virginia. Like, I guess I don't know how the dating sites work, but his reach was, he's not that far from here, but it's like you would come down to Atlanta to to go on a date with somebody?
I
Really?
mean,
Okay.
people do that. They put their search radius sometimes 50 miles, sometimes 100 miles. It just depends.
So, but yeah, that was the one thing. I call him he's my little brother. I really hope that they took his pictures down, and ladies, let's just do better.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a beneficial app, and it can be used for good, but just like anything, it could be used for malicious intent. So it's just figuring out, when you get on there, if the man, and my thing is, if the man has told you that he's dating other people, don't put him on there. Want to know why? Because
Right.
he's already been upfront and honest with you about his dating status. Hey, listen, I'm dating around, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And so he was completely full disclosure with you, and maybe you weren't his cup of tea. Okay. Now you want to put him on an app. Ma'am, but he already told you that he was dating around. He's weighing options, and you just happen to not fit the bill. You didn't make the final cut, you know? So, but people, I just like, I just can't. Like, some of these things are insane. And I guess for him, he was completely upfront and honest because you're saying that things were what they said about him were true
Was
on there.
true.
So,
Yes.
so he agrees with them, he understands, but at the same time, it's like, why put somebody on there who is upfront and honest with you about their one marital status and then also what their plans are?
Yeah.
That's not for that. This is for those people who are intentionally trying to deceive. That's what that's for.
Now I'm gonna say this part before we get off of this topic. Um, there was one that I did see where the young lady was asking a question, which was I think was a great question. She was just asking, "Is it a red flag?" She met this guy, and he wanted their first date to be them going away. So she was a little, she was second guessing, and she just wanted some reinforcements. And there was a young lady who basically said it was a yellow flag, and and basically gave her some insight in regards to, like, if she did go, make sure she has her own money, make sure she's able to travel back to where she came from, make sure, like, she was just giving her like all these little trinkets, which I'm like, there was no picture, there was no nothing. I was like, I actually like that one, because maybe she was like, oh, maybe you don't have any, older aunties to give these jewels, but XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. And then she gave some
Mhm.
questions. She was like, in the dating scene, ask these questions, like speak to him and ask him this, ask him this, ask him this. And I was like, okay, I can see where that was, that was cool. It wasn't a are we dating the same man type thing, but it was a great question and a great response. You get
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
don't
saying?
waste my time on these blogs. That's not what this is for, okay? It's just, I'm telling you, people's mental state, uh, like, you had to go, whatever. Anyway, listen, ladies, okay? These apps, these sites do exist, and I'm sure the men have things that they actually post on as well.
I'm sure.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander, so we got to be mindful of what we're posting, what energy we're sending out, because it will definitely come back on you, and you don't want it to come and bite you in the ass. So just make sure you're being on the up and up when you're posting on these sites, and not posting out of anger or with malicious intent, because it doesn't serve anybody. So
Right. Agreed.
All right. That was a good one, Nicole. Thank you for that.
Okay, we've all heard the story of Pinocchio. Every time he lied, his nose grew longer, making it impossible to hide the truth. But in real life, lies don't make our noses grow. They slowly change who we become. Tonight we're asking a difficult question. What happens when you lie for so long that you don't even know when the truth begins? Welcome to today's conversation, Pinocchio syndrome. When lies become your identity.
Ooh, child. Like uh, men and women, compulsive, pathological lying. Um, what I do know is when you tell one lie, you got to tell another lie to cover up that lie. Then you have to tell another lie to cover up those two lies. Then a fourth lie to cover up the three lies. And then it just becomes a chain, right? It becomes a chain. And then if you really are having altered mental state is what I'm gonna say, you start believing that. Because you done
Mhm.
told it for so many years, for so long, the same story, you start really thinking, hey, this is what actually happened. Those people are very hard to argue with because it's like, wait a minute. Like they will really try to make their narrative yours, which is
Yeah.
insane, you know? So what happens, Nicole, when lies become your identity?
Man, okay, so when lies become your identity, this is you avoid consequences, you the gaining their approvals, protecting themselves from rejection. You protect the person who lies is protecting themselves from rejection. They, no accountability. They, you know, you already mentioned the part of like they sit there, they lie so much, they believe their own lies, right? And they sit there and, like you said, turn it right back on you because they believe exactly what it is that they told you. So they turn it right back on you and make you feel like what's going on right now? What's
Yeah,
going on? It's controlling. They feel like they can control other people. I think it's a form of manipulation.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. And when they lie, I'm really worried about the people who just lie for no reason. When there's no need to do so at all. It's just something, it's like second nature. But hey,
it becomes easier.
if you lie, you steal. I don't trust those people.
Ooh,
So I feel
you know how I feel about a liar.
Yeah, so I feel like, and trust me, God hates a lying tongue. That's written in the Bible. So it definitely is a syndrome that really needs to be studied. I don't think it has been studied. I just feel like, you know, I feel like there's some sort of disconnect mentally behind that. But, some people lie to get what they want, people lie to get ahead, and it just I can see you tell a little white lie, okay, all right, uh, but when your whole life is a lie, when everything that you stand for is a lie, is that's insane. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
mm, I'm
When
telling you,
someone
like,
sits there and tries to turn around, let's say there's a situation that took place years ago, and they sit there and turn around and try to, whatever that little situation that took place, that, like you said, a little white lie, right? You told a little white lie because you was scared or hurt or whatever the case may be.
yeah,
And they lied to you. They lied to you about who they are as a person. They lied to you about if they dealing with multiple people. They lied to you about um whatever,
yeah,
how much they make from their job. It doesn't matter. Whatever the situation is. But like when shit hits the fan, they turn around on you and they try to say, oh, the reason why this is happening because remember when you did this.
mm,
What?
Hmm.
Absolutely not, sir, ma'am. Okay, like
Hmm.
you're not gonna sit there and turn this around on me. But
Hmm.
I think that's when I exit left. It's
Yeah.
like we're not sitting here having this discussion no more. I haven't got no time for it. My partitions done came down. I'm
Yeah.
heading that way. I like no.
I'm all for showing, bringing your representative to the table in the beginning.
Hmm.
You're just getting to know one another. And then as time goes on, you open up a little bit more, right? I'm
Hmm.
all for you opening up slowly but surely. But if the initial opening, if you're saying, "Hey, listen, this is my name is my name is John, and I am single, and I live by myself." And then a
Or with my
month or two
brothers.
later, it's like, "Oh, I'm single, but I'm separated, and I live by myself in a room because I don't really mess with my girl or my baby mother or my ex-wife. We just separated." Hold up.
The whole time you sleep in the bed with her, taking pictures with her right there, sleeping. But yet you over here in the pictures like this, acting like you in the bed by yourself, or you in your living room taking pictures with your dog.
And listen, you may very well be separated from whoever you were with, okay, and you're sharing a space, but I still think that that needs to be disclosed so that the
Absolutely.
person that you're interested in can make a choice to deal with that or not. You may deem, like, I had somebody tell me, "Okay, yeah, I'm separate, I'm married." He said, "I'm single." So back and forth, and I'm like, "Hey, are you married?" And he was like, "No, I'm single. Like, we separated. You're married. Okay. And you're not trying to get me caught up in that mess. Nope, negative. Sorry, you're not the person for me. Moving on. Because we're not doing that. Not at these big ages. I'm not sharing nobody with anybody. I'm not sharing, no. So, but like I said, it's the intentional lying, right? It's, "Hey, listen, I'm single, but you really aren't single. You're separated. And oh, I live alone. Oh, I'm in a room though. I don't sleep with her. We do our thing. But you still don't live alone. Like, you live in the house with your wife or your baby mother. I don't care if if he's in the baby's room or whatever. I don't care. It's just, you got to be completely honest and be transparent, at least about those things, because those things are deal breakers. Whether your marital status is a deal breaker, as well as your living situation, that's a deal breaker. If
Hmm.
you are not in a space to where you can receive company, where you can entertain, right? I should say entertain. That should be made known, because you're going to later on down the line, it's like, "Hey, listen, let me come to your house." "Oh, can't do that." And they always want to come to your house. No, you're not coming to the house and eating my baby's snacks and drinking they juicy
Oh,
juices. Nah, get out of here. But anyway, so yeah.
I digress.
Yeah, let me bring it back. Let me bring it back.
Listen,
Just those things happen, and they happen way too often because people don't want to tell the truth. And I feel like telling the truth is so much better. The truth is always going to be better than the lie,
yeah,
but the telling the truth is so it actually puts you in a space where you are now aware of what's going on, and then you can make an informed decision, as opposed to someone lying to you, and now you have to like double back on a decision that you made, because this is not actually where you want to be.
absolutely. And plus, lies. Y'all gotta understand. It damages the whatever it is that you're trying to build with somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, it damages the trust, the relationship. If you're lying at work, it damages your career. It damages your family, mental peace.
Hmm.
We work so hard for our mental peace. So when someone sits there and lies to you, you're sitting here thinking about it like over and over and over again. It's just like, and you're trying to understand. Like, I don't understand. Like, why would he or why would she sit there and say this? Like, mental peace is, listen, top tier. Okay, don't
Yeah.
disturb someone's mental peace. Okay, and
Mm.
most of all, this your self respect. Self respect. Like, come on, guys. We definitely got to get better. Like, you, you made you said something about someone who lies just to be lying for no reason. That's what you said. That was your words. For no reason.
That- Like,
I can't.
I saw the sky. The sky turned red today. Okay, it did.
You know
Where?
what I mean. You know what I
Mm.
mean.
Know what I'm
That's
saying?
from.
Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm
That's
saying?
from. Oh, you know what I'm saying. That's from.
Know what I'm
Why did I get
saying?
married?
Yeah. The sky turned red today. Or you know what? I helped this homeless person out, and I gave them my last, yo.
No, good goddamn well you didn't do none of that. Okay.
And it's just like the tall tales. You're like, oh my gosh, like who is it? Who is this person? That person doesn't even know who they are, which is so weird. But I'm hoping that they come out with something for that, because there has to be something that is going to stop the brain from actually just going there. Because like, if you have to really think about it, some people I've seen just lie like so effortlessly, not even thinking about it. Just that's the initial thing. Oh, let me lie. Oh, because and I remember someone says, I rather ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Why?
It's like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna lie about that. So forgive me for lying, which may
No.
be a better option than actually having to be upfront and honest. It's wild how that goes. But yeah, a lot of people are out here lying. A lot of people using AI, to manipulate their pictures, manipulate videos. I've seen
There's a
people
lot
use
of that.
AI
Yeah.
to steal. People use AI to steal, to create fake text messages. It's amazing what you
Mhm.
can do on ChatGPT.
Mhm.
I've seen so many people put like, I've even done it. I was using it as an example to somebody. I was like, check this out. I put my old picture and their old picture, and I was like, put us together. We was like a couple, okay? All
Oh
right.
wow.
And it's like, so people are using these things to manipulate, and it's getting a lot scarier out there
Now I would
because
say I like ChatGPT, but you have to write your own content and just ask for help me clean this up.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's a good way
Mhm.
of using it. But when you talking about what you just said, that's
Tell me.
scary.
It's serious. It's serious out there. They using stuff on OnlyFans. They taking your photo, putting it on, say, hey, listen, put this on a bikini, put this on use the same facial, because you could give them
Mm.
the right prompts, right, to do so. And then they done put you on OnlyFans, making money off of you.
I
Like
seen
it's
this
there.
girl on Instagram. It was like I think it was I don't know if it was Instagram or TikTok, but she basically showed. I guess she's a foot model, right? And she basically showed a picture of her foot,
Hmm.
but then she showed a picture of her actual foot. It didn't look
Nope.
like the picture.
Nope.
It didn't look
I
like the
bet.
picture. And she was actually making money. And she was like, y'all out here, what she said, y'all out here on social media just posting pictures. Y'all need to get out here and get some money. And she showed, I was like,
Sounds crazy. It's
well,
wild.
how?
I don't know if I sent it to somebody. I saw it, like the amount of like catfish is wild.
It's scary.
I saw this man. Oh my gosh, he was unfortunate looking. Okay, and he had gotten all his work done, plastic surgery. I mean, he looked so debonair. He looked so handsome. I was like, wow, that's a complete 360. So fast forward 12 years later or 10 years later, you with your wife and she get pregnant and you have a kid. Who kid is that? Cause it ain't, who is it? 'Cause- yo, yo, the code. I was like,
I'm glad you brought this up. There was a 21-year-old
insane.
old who got plastic surgery because she wanted her kids to have her new face.
Wait, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm not even going to hold you. Like, and this is why, look,
I said, yo, these kids are dumb.
this world is doomed. Okay, what? Like, are you insane?
Yo, I
And
was cracking up when I read that, okay?
like this guy, though, I'm telling you, they did a rhinoplasty, they did a chin augmentation, they lifted him up. I mean, changed the curvature of his eyes. Like he had like, cause he had like a lid lift or something like that. But the nose was sitting like right here. I was like, oh, he would have been part of the Hutu on Rwanda because yeah, he would have been killing the folk. That would have been him. But now, listen,
You are stupid.
now no slim, looking
Ooh.
debonair, and
Listen,
I'm sure he is not telling these women that how he used to look, right? So again, if he goes and has a baby, everyone's gonna be like completely shocked. Like, who is that? Because you
like,
can't change
you sure that's your
DNA,
kid?
right? This
You
is
sure that's your
like
kid? You don't look nothing like y'all.
like what? Yo, wild. The
Woo.
amount of lies, the amount of deceit that's out there in this world, is crazy. It's scary. It really is scary because you don't know who you're gonna get, right? You don't know who you're gonna get. I told you before, you need to ask a lot of questions nowadays. Hey, were you born a man? Were you born a woman? And listen, whatever you do with your life, the choice that you make is your own. However, you have to give somebody else that choice whether or not they want to deal with you. You have to do that. It's just courtesy, So these questions you have to ask. I think I have a list now. I'm like, dang, like, and I just keep adding to that joint every day because you need to be specific. I need to be like, it's
You
gonna be like
do.
a dissertation in the end. But like, what, as a single female, as a single black female,
Hmm.
um, it's already tough. It's already tough to date. But when you factor in all of these different things, it becomes a lot tougher. We're not giving up. We're not giving up on love or anything like that. But it does become a lot tougher. So you have to be a little bit more intentional about the connections that you make. So um you mentioned something about lying on job applications. Do you have a record? Yes. Okay, say you have a record because
Hmm.
they're going to find out. And yeah, you may be working for three months, but if somebody audits or does a deeper look, you're gonna get fired. Now you're back to square one. Just say exactly what it is, and you never know. You may find favor from the hiring manager. Just like saying, lying just to be lying and knowing that it's a lie. Listen, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I'm telling you, it doesn't end well. So just around, I'm gonna tell the truth. Now I'm just like, whatever, I don't even care. I'm telling you what I feel, and and either you like it or you don't. But whether you like it or you don't is not my concern. But I will need you to respect me, period, and
let's I want to
respect my
backtrack
wishes.
to what Kwana just said. When it comes to the application, line on the application, if you're,
Ooh, child.
if you've been arrested or whatever the case may be, or if you've been to, prison.
Yeah.
So just for those of you in the back that don't know what that means, if you've ever been arrested, it doesn't say if you've ever been arrested. It says have you have you been arrested? What it says? Something about do you have a felony charge? That's what it
Yeah.
says. Being arrested because uh you beat up your girlfriend or you did some stupid crap or whatever the case may be, that's not a felony. Okay? So
Depends on what it was. Depends on
depends on the
the
charge.
depth
But
of
if
it.
you know a
Yes.
felony is a felony and a misdemeanor is a misdemeanor. So a misdemeanor does not get put on there. Just so y'all know. A
Hmm.
felony is a worst offense. So that's what you put on. Like if you've been like I think a DWI is considered a felony, right? I'm assuming, right? That's not a misdemeanor. I think, right?
I don't know. I've never had one.
Me, me neither. But I want to say that it is. But if it's not, I don't work in the criminal justice field, so don't sue me. But you get what I'm saying. Like if you stole something and it was over $1,000, that's a felony. Then yes, you would sit there if you've been arrested and you went to prison for a felony. Yes, you would check that off. But if not, if you stole something, it was like $500. That's not a felony. You don't need to put that on that application.
So just to backtrack to that, so the DUI or even a DWI, same thing, but it most times if it's first time or standard driving offenses, they're misdemeanors. However,
Okay.
if the charge escalates to a felony due to repeat offenses,
Oh, okay.
or high blood alcohol content with priors, or of course aggravating injury. So if you cause injury to someone while underneath the influence, then it's a felony. So certain
Okay.
factors go into that.
Okay. So, but just to give you guys a gist of what that goes into. So
Yeah. So basically, tell the truth, okay? That's really what we're trying to say here.
that's it.
Tell the truth, be forthcoming, be honest, tell the truth about everything. Tell the truth about your 2 inches, tell your truth about, your whatever it is, your erectile dysfunction. Tell the truth about whether or not you like men and women. Tell the truth
Oh my
about that on
god.
both sides, right? So tell the truth about your sexual health. Tell the truth about your money, your finances. Tell the truth about all these different things because it saves you a headache in the end. Okay?
Agreed.
So,
I definitely agree with that right there. I'm all for telling the truth, even if it hurts. I'm all for telling the truth. We all tell little small white lies. I try my best to stay away from it because I don't have no time to remember what it is that I told
okay. That's where I am at this big age, right? It's check this out. You're gonna get this truth because
you.
I I'm so busy, like I don't have time to remember what I told to
I
who
don't.
and who I told it to. I
I
don't have
don't.
time for that. So you're gonna get the same story. And then if you don't like the story, that's on you, but you're gonna get the same story,
It's okay.
same thing from my end because I don't have time to be lying. First of all, who gonna check me? Why am I lying to
What?
people?
That part. Wait. Say that again, please. Oh my
Who's
god.
checking me? Like why am I lying to you? Why do you feel like you're that important for me to lie to you? That's wild.
And I don't look
Um,
for validation. I don't need someone to validate who I am as a person. Okay. So I can care less about, and granted, I mean this in the most amazing way. I don't care what anybody else thinks of anything that I'm doing
yeah,
or who it is that I'm dating or whatever, the clothes that I'm wearing. I don't care. If I like it, that's all that matters. You can sit there and say whatever it is that you want.
yeah,
But I don't need the validation. So, and like Kwana said, in this big age, like you learn some stuff along the way, okay? And you learn that I don't need you to help me be me.
correct, correct,
Okay?
correct, correct, correct,
I
correct.
am okay right where I am. I love who I am. I can be in my own space by myself. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt anything. Like I can go to the movies and see my favorite movie by myself, and I am okay. So
Yeah.
it's like,
I,
listen,
I I think the
we can
moral
get
of
there.
the moral of the story is, lying about who you are and just lying in general is just distasteful, right? And but when it comes to you lying about who you are, that's something that needs to be worked on, because when you're not authentically you, right? When you're not authentic, then that you have to keep up that facade, and that's
Yeah,
tiring. That's tiring. So just be who you are, be who God called you to be. And again, the only person that's going to check me is God. So and that's the only validation that I need.
that's
So
it.
when I do things in the way that I'm moving, it's like, all right, God, is this right? Okay, you know what? Fine. Thank you. If it's not right, He's gonna check me on it. But that's
Yeah.
the only validation I seek. I don't seek validation from man at all. I don't care who you
Thank
are. I
you.
don't care what. I don't care how long I've known you. I don't seek your validation. It's me and God alone, and that's it. So,
And that's perfectly said right there. Okay, thank
okay,
you.
you're welcome. Well, we thank you again for watching Real Conversation. Again, I'm your host, Shaquana Terry.
And I'm Nicole Jones.
And you can find us every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube at real_convos_podcasts, and on Facebook as well.
At Real Conversations 2021.
So we thank you so much for watching, and God bless.